Purchasing a new vehicle is expensive, and the last thing you want to have to do when you get a new car is put a bunch of money into aftermarket accessories and things. The puddle lights and dash caps and other things can be really fun, but they aren't really necessary. So here are a couple things that I think are necessary. First off, your new Tesla, and really most EVs, will come with a wall charger that's like a mobile connector that you would use on the road. And in my case, I don't have a dedicated wall charger installed. I have a NEMA 1450 outlet installed in my garage because when we bought our first Tesla, I wasn't sure if we'd want to stay in that ecosystem and get locked into that. So we just had the electrician put in a 1450 outlet and figured we could adapt from there. The current mobile connectors from Tesla only come with a 120 volt regular household plug, which can do the job, but very, very slowly. So the first accessory on my list was going to Tesla's website and getting the NEMA 1450 adapter. And that gives me basically level 2 charging right at home. And that's going to give you plenty of charge overnight. You can fill up to 100% if you need to. This level is almost what you would get from their proprietary wall connector. And for right now, it's fine for us. Tesla does sell a bunch of adapters for many different types of plugs, depending on what you have either at your home, garage, or maybe a favorite camping spot. To have a little redundancy for road trips, I stopped by a camping RV supply store and picked up a adapter that basically changes my NEMA 1450 adapter to a NEMA 1430 adapter. It's a little lower power, but if you're at a campsite or RV park and need a charge, generally either the 1450 or 1430 plugs are what you're going to find. And around town, I keep my mobile connector just in my garage because I know there are charging options and I know I'm not going to run out of charge during the day. But when I'm taking a road trip, I always make sure to put that mobile connector back in, even if I know I'm going to be using the supercharger network, just in case of emergency. And I always keep that spare 120 plug adapter for the mobile connector in the car, just so I'm sure it's never misplaced. I've also bought a couple long 12-gauge extension cords, so if I run into an issue where I need to string power from a distance and just use the 120 outlet, I can do that and still make it to the car. So those are some of the precautions that I've taken, but I've hardly ever used them. Once in a cabin up north, next time I'm at an RV park that has the NEMA 1430, I'm going to double check to make sure that that adapter works. But if you're using the supercharger network and planning through the navigation in the car, you're not going to have these issues. But it's always good to have backups, so wanted to let you know what my backups were. Item number 2 is floor mats. The car comes with carpet floor mats and they're okay, but I traveled to some rural areas and already in week 1 had quite a bit of gravel and mud ground into the carpet. Over time, that's going to get really, really hard to clean. So I ordered a floor mat set from Tasmanian, and it seems like that's had good reviews. Other people might have other options, but this is the one we went with. The price seemed okay, and I'll show coverage of how those all fit and compared to the carpet floor mats. With our used Model S we had before this, I had the Tesla rubber floor mats. The nice thing was I could pull them out, hose them down, scrub them off if I needed to, put them back in, and they look nice and fresh. I'm hoping this is the same situation here. I just got the Tasmanian floor mats installed. Obviously a really simple process, and of course right as I was getting the last one in, I found the instructions that say you're supposed to lay the car mat and cargo liners on flat ground surface for 24 hours or under a warm shaded area for 12 hours before you install them. And of course, like most people, I didn't do that. I am letting the car air out a little bit now to get rid of some of that plasticky smell, and I'll leave the windows down in the garage tonight, again, to kind of vent that out a little bit more. But so far they seem to fit pretty well for the most part. There are a couple spots where they aren't quite flexing out to the edge of the vehicle. I'm hoping that settles. It says they're going to settle over a couple days, so we'll check back in and see how they're doing. Future Brian here, and I've picked the windiest day to recap the floor mats. It's been about a week, and for the most part they've settled out to the sides and are hugging the vehicle pretty well. Little concern back here, very minor thing, is the corners have kind of started peeling up a little bit. Obviously if you have anything on here, that's going to hold it down. I don't think it's going to completely taco shell. Still seems very capable of doing the job, and obviously I'm not hanging out back here too often. The other thing is, it's great that they put a seam in the middle of this, but pushing that lower trunk piece up is kind of always being pushed forward and doesn't sit upright as nice. That's one of my favorite features of the Model Y, is this little cutout, so you can just flip this piece up and it easily sits down into that spot. It's a minor annoyance, but no big deal. The bigger concern, and it just kind of changes how you would store things, is this rear trunk area, or is, you can see, quite a bit more difficult to push up with the mat, because the mat really hugs the edge of the back nicely, which is great for spills or having my daughter back here running around. But it makes this area, as small as it is, a little harder to access. So I would only put things in there I'd need on a very rare occasion. But overall, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm happy with them so far. Item number 3 is a license plate bracket for the front of the vehicle. Tesla does provide a front license plate holder, but it sticks on with automotive tape to the front of the car. And I like the idea of being able to pull it off for car shows and things like that. And I'm not really crazy about the idea of something just sticking right to the vehicle. So we have ordered the Quick Bandit. That was a suggestion from some friends in the Minnesota Tesla owners group. There are some other brands out there, but they said from their experience, this one seems to be the one that works the best. Now, I'm telling you about that before it's actually here, because tomorrow when it arrives, it's supposed to be raining. There's nothing like getting your license plates to make you feel like Navin Johnson getting his name in the phone book. So, pretty quick operation on the back end. I'm just going to swap this out. You really want to make sure you're holding on to the bracket as you pull these screws out so it doesn't swing and scratch the car. You got to be smarter than the license plate. All right, that's on. So now let's take a look at the front license plate. I got this a couple days ago, but since we didn't have the plates, there didn't seem to be a good reason to open it up yet. So very simple packaging, just some quick instructions and the unit in the plastic here. And so here's the bracket. I know these are durable, but it doesn't seem like there's much to it, but I've had good recommendations that this is very sturdy. I will take other owners at their word. And the other thing included is the screws and the little star wrench used to secure this. Looks like 3 pretty easy steps. If you want to have butterfingers, make sure to have a camera running. That's my secret. Now it seems like these are threading just right into the plastic, and the plastic is not bored out at all. So as I'm putting these threads in, it's creating the threads in the plastic. So I'm tightening them, but not going crazy, because I don't want to strip it out. If you want to comment down below of what you think FTF might mean, I have a few ideas. So this is the crossbar. With the crossbar up and open, Align and position the V slot with the center vertical grill divider. Press crossbar all the way down to secure mount in place. So that's spreading these, which will latch into the front grill. And use included tool to tighten the locking screw on the left side of the mount. Do not over tighten the locking screw. This seems really easy and straightforward, so let's flip the car around and stick it on. Alright, I really want to come off as super nimble right here. So. Alright, that is really super simple. Looks good and centered there, and now I'm just going to tighten it up with this little star key that they have. Again, you want to be careful as you're doing this to, first of all, go the right way, and secondly, not over tighten, and keep pretty good control of the tool because you don't want to have it drop and scratch your bumper. So I would say that's on there pretty well. I cannot release it. So I think we have mission accomplished. Well, that was really simple. Probably could have done it in 2 or 3 minutes if I hadn't been filming. It looks good. It stands off the bumper about 3/8 of an inch. And the last step is making sure I remember to put this tool in the glove box. So if I need to take it off for a car show or something, I can easily find it and not rummage through the whole garage to get it. Now there are a couple other things that are potentials that we're looking at, and that is, one is the screen protector for the front screen. Okay, it's going to be a little difficult to see, but this is the Spigen anti-glare screen protector. With the way my daughter has been climbing in and out of here in the last week, I can easily see this screen getting damaged, so a little protection and get rid of those fingerprints is going to be great. Comes with this bracket and obviously the toolkit and instructions back here. Cleaning wipe, pull the back off, the tray on, slide your finger, pull the strip off, and then get rid of top coat and then any bubbles. So should be pretty straightforward. If you want to really deep dive into other screen protectors and this one, check out Brian at I1 Tesla. He did a review of this one and seemed to be very happy with it. Okay, first I will switch into screen cleaning mode. How did I not see that before? Right, it's definitely been 30 seconds. Okay. Left a lot of residue on the... Oh, that's on the inside protector, so I guess that's okay. Okay, now we take this off. Oh, that looks sharp. That looks very sharp. There are a couple bubbles. It's so matte, it's hard to even see where the bubbles are. Seems to be on there really well, and no glare. There are a couple spots here, and I don't know if that's dust that got under there. It looked, when I pulled the backing off, it looked like some of the adhesive was a little wound up. I tried to wipe it off, but so I don't know if it's going to blend out with time and pressure. Oh, you actually have to hold the spot that says hold. I can see it has a hair of a, it's almost like adding a very slight blur effect, but there is almost no glare, and doesn't seem to be, yeah, the fingerprints just aren't showing up, so that's fantastic. So those 4 are the main accessories that I think are really useful. Number 5 is nice to have, but if you're going with a Tesla, you probably want to get it. And that's a couple game controllers. So while you're charging or just showing off the car, you can let people play some of the games in the infotainment system. I've got some fun stuff that'll be coming about that later, but for now, I'll just say that we picked up a couple Xbox controllers, and those controllers have the older USB-A style plug. So we got a couple adapters to go from the USB-Cs in the car to the controllers. I think the wired ones might also be a little cheaper. We bought a couple PDP controllers for Xbox, and they worked great for beach buggy racing, but didn't work past the menu screen on Cuphead. My friend Todd had an Xbox brand controller, and he was kind enough to help test it out. That worked great in both games, so we'll be switching to the official Xbox controllers soon. You may be able to find other compatible controllers online. One other nice to have would be something to cover the back of the front passenger seat, because my daughter likes to rest her feet there when she's in her car seat, and probably will with a booster too. So if you have kids, you might want to consider something like that. I haven't done any research to find a solution for that yet, but it's something I'll look for in the future. The other thing is a pretty big ticket item, and normally if I was only going to keep a car for a couple of years, I wouldn't bother with this, but that's clear wrap or paint protection film. Rob Maurer from Tesla Daily just did a great video on the paint protection he had put on his car. We're doing a pretty similar thing. If I can get some video footage, I might do a video on that process. But if not, check out Rob's video. It was really in-depth and had a great result. And the reason we're going with that added expense is we plan to keep this car for 10, 12, maybe 15 years. This is going to be around as long as we can possibly keep it. So we want to make sure that we're not dealing with rust at 7 or 8 years. We want this car to stay as nice as it can, as long as it can. So those are my top 5 accessories and a couple bonus items. Nothing too glamorous here, but just making the car functional for the long term. If you have other accessories you'd like to recommend down below, please feel free to do that. And I want to let you know that I'm not being sponsored by any of these companies or don't have any affiliate links. I paid full retail price, but I just wanted to share what we did, and maybe it's something you'll want to do too with these brands or another brand. But that's it for today. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And if not, then thanks for watching anyway. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.